So, what if you could turn every single piece of customer feedback, the good, the bad, all of it, into a real opportunity for growth? Today, we're going to walk through a playbook that does exactly that. We're talking about transforming customer experience, or CX, from just some forgotten report card into your company's secret weapon.
But let's be real for a second. Does this feel a little too familiar? You ask for feedback, you even get some responses, and then, poof, they just vanish into this maze of spreadsheets and reports that nobody ever reads. You've got the data, but it's basically a dead end.
All right, so let's dive right into what this playbook calls the feedback maze. We're going to look at exactly why the old school ways of getting customer feedback often create way more problems than they ever solve. Okay, check this out. This slide really breaks it down. The old way, it's like trying to drive using only your rearview mirror. You only see problems long after you've already passed them. The new way is like a GPS. It's giving you real-time data so you can navigate your customer relationships and, avoid the roadblocks before you even hit them. And I bet these frustrations look pretty familiar, right? You put in all this effort, but you're just met with customers who are tired of surveys and data that just sits there. It's this endless cycle of wasted effort because the insights aren't there when and where they can actually make a difference. So how do we get out of this maze? Well, you do it by building what this playbook calls a customer radar, an always-on system that's constantly listening for customer signals and feeding them directly into your daily operations. And the real power of this radar idea is how it shifts you from being reactive to being proactive. So instead of trying to figure out why a customer already left, this system lets you spot the warning signs, like a little dip in their satisfaction, and step in before they even think about leaving. A good radar doesn't just point in one direction, right? And this slide shows something super important. You need listening posts at every single stage of the customer journey. From their first click on your website to their latest support call, every one of those touch points is a chance to understand their experience. Now, to get that full picture, you really need two kinds of signals. Think of relational NPS, or RNPS, as the long-term weather forecast. It tells you how they generally feel about your brand. Transactional NPS, or TNPS, is more like the live weather report. It measures how they felt about one specific thing, like a recent delivery. You absolutely need both to know what's going on. Okay, but wait a minute. If you're listening everywhere, aren't you just creating more data chaos? Well, not if you have a powerful unifying principle to make sense of it all. And that brings us to the real core of this whole strategy. This right here is the data nightmare that most companies are living in. The support team uses a 1 to 5-star rating, marketing's got a 1 to 7 satisfaction score, and somebody else is using something different. How on earth are you supposed to compare a 4-star rating to a score of 6 out of 10? You can't. It's apples and oranges, total confusion. And here it is, the beautifully simple solution, the single scale. By making every single piece of feedback use one simple universal 0 to 10 Net Promoter Score scale, you suddenly create a common language. Everybody in the entire company is finally reading from the same sheet of music. And this is the pure genius of the scale. It automatically sorts all your feedback into 3 super clear buckets. A 9 or a 10, that's a promoter, they're your champions. A 7 or 8, they're passive, kind of just meh. But anything 6 or below flags them as a detractor, a customer who is at risk. It's an instant shorthand for customer health that everyone gets.
So, you've got a clear, unified signal now? Awesome. But a signal is totally useless if no one acts on it. And that brings us to the most critical part of this whole playbook, actually closing the feedback loop.
And this isn't some manual chore, it's a slick, automated system. A key moment happens, like a support ticket gets resolved, and that triggers a survey. The customer replies. If that score is low, an alarm goes off instantly. And, this is the magic part, that feedback gets pushed directly into the tools your teams are already using every day, demanding that they take action. And this is what that actually looks like. On the left, you see a customer's entire feedback history living right inside their profile in the CRM. On the right, that same data pops up in an Outlook plugin right next to their latest email. No more digging around in spreadsheets. The context is right there where you're working. This quote from the source just nails why that integration is such a game changer. You're removing all the friction. When acting on feedback becomes the easiest thing for your team to do, they'll actually do it. It's not another tool to learn, it's just making them smarter in the tools they already live in. So when all these pieces finally come together, the always-on radar, that single scale, and the closed loop, you unlock the ultimate payoff. You finally stop playing defense and you get to start playing offense. You become truly proactive. This is where the real power of all this kicks in. You graduate from just reacting to one-off scores to tracking a customer's pulse score over their entire lifetime with you. You can literally see their satisfaction trend up or down, spotting a happy customer whose score is just starting to dip, and you can intervene before they become a problem. And this slide right here shows you how to turn customer happiness into a cold, hard business metric. By plotting that NPS pulse score against how much they spend, you create a strategic map. You can see in an instant which of your big money accounts are at risk and which of your happy customers are totally ready for growth. So what does all this really mean for your bottom line? Well, it's not about warm, fuzzy feelings. As you can see here, it's about real, tangible results. Proactively stopping churn, spotting new growth opportunities, and building a stronger, more profitable business from the inside out.
So we'll end with this question. It's not about if you're collecting feedback, it's about what you actually do with it. Is your customer radar turned on? And are you using those signals to grow? Because in the end, the companies that truly listen are the ones that are going to win.